guys! Today's video is going to be about university. I finished my last class for first year today, so I figured that I'd give you some tips on what to do and what not to do during your first year. Okay, so my first tip is write a diary. I've never really been a person who writes a diary because I always forget that I have it, and then I end up writing like maybe for 3 days, and then after that the excitement kind of fades away. But with this, I got myself like an expensive one. This was I think £13, so I figured that if I pay money for this, then I'll have to write in it, and I actually have quite a bit. It's really important to document kind of at least the first semester, just because it's fun to read it back and see how you've evolved, and also it provides good entertainment to read back your first impressions of your friends to your friends. Number 2, you need to push yourself to talk to other people. I made my closest friends during the first day I was here, but besides that, the way I kind of made friends in class was I would hear a conversation and I would kind of butt in and talk to them, or someone had like nice shoes and I went like, oh my god, your shoes are really cool, and that's how we would kind of get the conversation going. So you really have to push yourself to start conversations with people, because most likely they're going to be just as glad that you're talking to them as you are that they're talking to you. Number 3, do not get too much to carry from the local supermarket. So many times we went to Tesco and we got too many bags. Well, I got too many bags of food, and it would be absolute torture bringing them back to the university. It took us a few months to realize that you can get home delivery. Number 4 is do not put your best black jeans into the dryer without checking whether they're dryer safe. I made this mistake because I've never used a tumble dryer before, so I went to the UNI laundry room and I was like, oh, this is so cool, they have a tumble dryer. And so I put all my clothes into the washer, then they were done, then I put them all into the dryer, and then when they came out, I tried to put on my jeans and they were too small. So don't be like me, check what garments are dryer safe. Number 5 is say things in class. I know it's so difficult when you have a seminar and the teacher asks something and you kind of want to say something, but you start stuttering when you start saying it, or then it feels really, really nerve-wracking to kind of make actual points and form coherent sentences in front of your teachers, especially if it's your first year. But it is worth it once you get past that nervousness and you say things in class. It's really going to help other people because they're going to bounce off what you're saying, they're going to join into the conversation, and everyone's just going to learn more because you're actually having a discussion instead of the teacher just kind of spouting a monologue at you. So do speak up in class, even if it makes you nervous. Number 6 is do not worry if someone doesn't like you. There's nothing you can do if they don't like you, and the fact is you can't make everyone happy. You're always going to butt heads with someone in your class or in your flat or people who you see around university, and there's no way of helping that. Number 7 is do take the time to reinvent yourself. If there's some kind of hairstyle or dressing style or anything that you wanted to try out before but you haven't really been able to or haven't had the courage to, university is the perfect time to make those changes, because no one is most likely going to know what you were like before, so you can just kind of reinvent parts of yourself if you want to try out something new. Number 8 is do not trust everyone you meet. I know it's tough if you're naive or like me, you believe in the good of people, but not everyone you meet is going to be fully truthful with you, and that can really twist your view about things. Obviously trust people, but also call out people, even if they're your friends, if they're saying something that sounds a bit fishy to you, or if you've heard another story and they seem to be telling a whole different story, because it's important that you don't surround yourself with people who bring you down. Number 9 is find smaller groups of friends as well as large groups of friends. It's really fun to hang out with like a lot of people, but it's really important also to find those few people that you can actually confide in and talk to about serious issues, because I know that as fun as it is to hang out and laugh with many people, sometimes you need that person that you can talk to if something's been bothering you, or if you miss home, or stuff like that you can't really open up about to huge groups of people. Number 10 is do not get too nostalgic about your past years in like high school, for example. If you're like me and you had a really great experience in high school, it can be tough to let that go, especially because it was an environment that you were comfortable in and you had friends in, and then coming to a new environment where you don't know anyone, it can be very easy to just kind of chat with your friends from back home and have them as a solace and a safe place, and that's all right, but you need to make sure that you focus more on the friends you're making here. because this is where you're going to be. If you're like me, you have 4 years of degree, this is where you're going to be for many years. So you need to put enough time into those friendships at the beginning where it really matters. Despite this, number 11 is do remember to keep in touch with your friends back home. It's really difficult for me to keep in touch with people from back home just because I really enjoy being in the physical company of my friends and kind of talking to them face to face. So sometimes it's really difficult to kind of keep texting people and asking for Skype calls and making sure that you are kind of upkeeping those friendships as well. Lastly, number 12 is do go to university organized events and flat parties. Even if it might seem lame to you to go to something that the university has organized, for example at the student union, I really do urge you to go there. And if you're like me and you don't like going to clubs, it's important that you meet people in these environments where they're not necessarily like drunk out of their minds. And also flat parties are a good place to get to know people because it's very informal. Usually people bring their friends as well, so you're not going to be the only one who doesn't know anyone. And if you're like me and you're afraid to go to new places alone, then don't worry. You can always convince at least one of your friends to go with you, and that way you have someone to tag along to when you're at a party, and if it's kind of quiet and you're not really talking to anyone, you don't need to feel awkward because you have that friend there. I think that's everything I have to say. I do apologize for the weird like number hand things. Anyway, I hope this helped you, and even if you aren't going into university anytime soon or you've already been to university, you can use some of these tips in just general life, I think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye! I can't find the button to close it.